My wife locked me in chastity for 90 days. I thought it would destroy me. Instead, it saved my life and transformed everything I thought I knew about being a man. The first week, I wanted to quit. I was angry, frustrated, and confused. But by day 30, something incredible started happening that I never expected. I started keeping a journal of this nightmare. But what began as complaints turned into revelations. I discovered truths about myself that most men never face. Every morning, I looked in the mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. Not because I was weaker, but because I was becoming stronger than I'd ever been. By day 90, I'd transformed my body, my mind, my career, and my marriage. This is the story of how constraint created freedom and discipline unlocked power. 3 months ago, my wife sat me down and said something I never expected to hear. She looked me in the eyes and told me she felt disconnected from me. Not physically, but emotionally. She said I was always distracted, always chasing the next dopamine hit, never truly present. Then she proposed something radical: 90 days of complete abstinence, locked away, to force me to face myself. My first reaction was shock. My second was anger. But my third was curiosity. What if she was right? The first day was hell. Not because of the physical restriction, but because of what it revealed. Without my usual escape, I was left alone with my thoughts. And they were loud. I realized how much of my life I'd spent running from boredom, from discomfort, from myself. Every uncomfortable emotion I'd been numbing with quick fixes came flooding back. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't focus. I was experiencing withdrawal from instant gratification. By day 5, I started journaling. Not because I wanted to, but because I needed somewhere to put all these thoughts. And what I discovered shocked me. I wrote, "I've been living on autopilot for years. Wake up, work, seek pleasure, sleep, repeat. But I've built nothing meaningful. I've created no legacy. I've been a passenger in my own life." That hurt to write. But it was true. My wife didn't lock me in chastity to punish me. She did it to wake me up. Week 2, something shifted. All that pent-up energy had to go somewhere, so I channeled it into my body. I started working out every single day. Not casual exercise, but intense, focused training. Push-ups until failure. Cold showers that made me gasp. Running until my lungs burned. And something incredible happened. I felt powerful again. Not because I could do whatever I wanted, but because I was choosing discipline over impulse. That's real power. Around day 20, my wife noticed the change. Not in my body, though that was improving, but in my presence. For the first time in years, I was actually listening when she spoke. I wasn't thinking about my phone, my work, or what I wanted. I was there, fully there. We started cooking dinner together. We talked for hours about dreams, fears, memories. We laughed. Real laughter. The kind that comes from genuine connection, not just filling silence. My career transformed next. Without the constant drain of sexual thoughts and distractions, my mind was laser-focused. I finished projects I'd been procrastinating on for months. I started waking up at 5 a.m. without an alarm. I read 12 books in 4 weeks. I launched a side business I'd been planning for 2 years. The irony. By removing one source of pleasure, I unlocked a deeper satisfaction, the pleasure of achievement, of building something real. I reconnected with old friends. Real friends, not just people I partied with. We had conversations about purpose, about legacy, about what it means to be a good man in this world. Without my usual crutch, I was forced to develop real social skills, real charisma. Not the shallow kind that comes from false confidence, but the kind that comes from knowing yourself and being comfortable in your own skin. People noticed. They started asking me what had changed. Around day 40, something spiritual happened. I'm not religious, but I started feeling connected to something bigger than myself. Maybe it was nature. Maybe it was purpose. Maybe it was just clarity. I started meditating every morning, watching the sunrise, feeling gratitude for simple things. The birds singing. The coffee brewing. The ability to choose my response to life rather than just reacting. This challenge had stripped away all my distractions, and what remained was essence. Pure presence. But let me be honest. Day 52 was brutal. I wanted to quit. I was tired of the discipline. Part of me resented my wife for this. Part of me resented myself for agreeing. I stood at the window during a rainstorm and asked myself, is this worth it? And then I realized that question was the point. Nothing worth having comes easy. Every hero faces the moment where they want to turn back. This was mine. And I chose to keep going. Days 60 through 70, I discovered creative energy I didn't know I had. I started painting, writing poetry, creating music. Not because I was good at it, but because I had to express what was happening inside me. Sexual energy, when not released, doesn't just disappear. It transforms. It becomes creative energy, ambitious energy, life force. Ancient cultures knew this. Modern science confirms it. I was living proof. I learned what real masculine strength means. It's not about dominance or conquest. It's about self-mastery. It's about being able to control your impulses instead of being controlled by them. It's about delayed gratification. About building instead of consuming. About protecting instead of taking. My grandfather's generation understood this instinctively. We've forgotten it. This challenge reminded me what it means to be a man of character, not just a man of desires. My relationship with my wife reached depths I didn't know were possible. We became best friends again. Lovers in a non-physical sense. Partners in growth. She shared that she was testing whether I loved her or just loved what she provided. Whether I was committed to us or just to pleasure. And through this challenge, I proved to both of us that I was committed to something deeper. That I could love her without expecting anything in return. My finances improved dramatically. I stopped impulse buying. Stopped seeking quick dopamine hits through shopping. Stopped wasting money on distractions and entertainment. Instead, I invested. In my business. In assets. In my education. By day 75, I'd saved more money than in the previous year. Not because I was earning more, but because I was spending consciously. Every dollar became a tool for building the future, not escaping the present. My body transformed completely. I lost 20 pounds of fat and gained 12 pounds of muscle. But more importantly, I felt alive. Energy coursing through me every day. No more afternoon crashes. No more brain fog. No more feeling drained. I was eating clean, sleeping deep, moving daily. The physical restriction had led to physical freedom. My body became a temple again, not just a vehicle for chasing pleasure. The biggest change was mental. I developed unshakable self-belief. Not arrogance, but confidence rooted in evidence. I'd proven to myself that I could do hard things. That I could keep promises to myself. That I wasn't a slave to my impulses. This translated to everything. Difficult conversations? I handled them. Scary decisions? I made them. Challenges? I welcomed them. I'd built mental resilience through this crucible, and it made me unstoppable. Day 90 arrived. I'd made it. When my wife finally unlocked me, something unexpected happened. I didn't feel the desperate need I'd anticipated. Yes, there was desire, but it was different. Controlled. Intentional. We reconnected physically that night, and it was transcendent. Not because I'd been deprived, but because I was present. Fully present. Every sensation magnified. Every moment sacred. This is what we'd lost and finally found again. So what did I learn? First, comfort is the enemy of growth. Second, discipline equals freedom. Third, your relationship is a mirror showing you who you really are. Fourth, sexual energy is life force energy, and how you use it determines your destiny. Fifth, modern society wants you distracted and weak because that makes you controllable. And sixth, the hard path is always the right path. These 90 days taught me more than the previous 10 years combined. I'm not the same man who started this journey. That man was weak, distracted, controlled by his desires. He was a boy in a man's body. The man I am now is focused, purposeful, and free. Truly free. Not free to do whatever I want, but free from being controlled by what I want. That's the difference. And it's everything. My wife didn't break me with this challenge. She rebuilt me. And I'm grateful every single day. Now I'm challenging you. Not necessarily to do what I did, but to identify what's holding you back from becoming who you're meant to be. What comfort are you clinging to that's keeping you weak? What discipline are you avoiding that would set you free? What hard conversation do you need to have? What scary goal do you need to pursue? Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start today. Start now. Your transformed life is waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. I share uncomfortable truths that lead to real transformation. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway. And remember, the life you want requires the person you're not yet. But you can become that person. Starting right now. See you in the next one.